Jentai has a lot of weird fetishes in it. You know, in anime it does too, considering that we're basically getting borderline H every single day. But when a new show comes out, we're always looking forward to it, trying to see what potentially could be there. But then you gotta think about it, there's a lot of things that could be there, and a lot of things in Jentai has not worked out the way we all wanted it to be working out. Like, sometimes you be seeing things you didn't want to see, and it's like, why does it exist? I didn't ask for this. So when it comes down to things, today we're going to be talking once again about things in Jentai that does not make any sense, except with a little bit of a twist. I will also be referring to things that does make sense in Jentai, but I wish was done better, or at least changed in a way that was a lot more better to be done and a lot more people tackling that subject. So the first one we gotta actually talk about is a fairly simple one, but also at the same time the most disrespected category of all categories when it comes to anime: elves. Elves is not a weird subject. I actually like elves characters, but they have a lot of weight to them though, because be honest, how many times when we see in the anime or even just a Jentai, how many times they have been like treated like crap, or treated like they're nothing, or they just be like the sassy character in the anime and then that's basically their whole character? How many times have we seen elves just be like that, right? They're not necessarily the, you know, greatest character trope of all time, but they get disrespected a lot. Like every single time I'm watching an anime or a Jentai in some shape or form, they're the slaves of the community. They're basically the servants or something of the sort, you know? It's like, but why? Why are y'all just not necessarily doing other things, you know? And I don't really understand why elves are like, you know, the bait of literally everything that is lewd. Maybe it's because they're mythical creatures that's fine and beautiful. Maybe that's the reason. But even still, it's like, come on now. You mean to tell me elves can't do nothing else but except be slaves and, you know, suck dick around a corner because that's their literal entire point? Granted, monster girls and like other characters do be basically on that same level too, but no one gets it as bad as elves. The only Jentai I can think of where elves actually survived and did a good, you know, get a good life and stuff is like, I forgot the name of it, but it's like Mori something, no Calliope, but it was like Mori something, where this dude I think got isekai'd into the world, and then he basically just clapped all the elves around him, and it was like a fine dark skinned elf too. So like, that was like the only one I can think of. And really, if you really think about it, pointy-eared characters in general when it comes to Jentai are just disrespected as hell. Like, they are just straight up either slaves used for some harassment or some nonsense, or something else entirely that makes you like hate that, like maybe they hate humans or something like that. So anytime you see a pointy-eared character in some media, just remember they're probably going to be the slave or the, you know, abused character trope in that entire situation, because that's literally all elves and pointy-eared characters. It's why you probably see Zelda so many times getting clapped by so many people that isn't Link. So there you go. The next thing is body expansion. Now, we talked about body expansion before, and I'm actually perfectly fine with body expansion. I don't necessarily mind it. But there is one instance where I'm just like, okay, this is just a little too, well, I won't say this is too wild, but this has just always been one that's called back to my brain every single time I think about body expansion, and it has to do with Time and Asagi. Remember when Sakura's big ass chest just expanded because she was getting tortured and whatever? Like, that was a thing that happened, and it was like, huh, I'm pretty sure that would not work in reality. Now granted, if you have like swelling in your arm or swelling in your leg or something like that, sure, a part of that area is going to get huge, you know? Sometimes it could get big, and sometimes you might need to consult a doctor because that's not normal. And I'm pretty sure if this were to happen to somebody else, I guarantee you they're not gonna feel pleasure or some type of good shit. They're gonna feel pain. They're gonna need to be taken to the doctor ASAP. I ain't gonna necessarily hold you. That, like, why would you, just how? Like, granted, don't get me wrong, she look very better when she has like a huge rack. Not necessarily gonna lie, but in, you know, it makes sense that it goes down later in the show because it's basically inflated. It's not necessarily meant to stay up that long. But definitely, it's like, well, damn, that's a bit extreme. Y'all couldn't like do like every other person and just pour helium into her body, and so she can just get lighter and then, like, you know, have it expand that way? I mean, it's still weird, but it's not necessarily like, you know, the most brutal thing on the planet. You know, if that's what you into, then it is what it is. But still, I just like my ladies unharmed, honestly. The next one we have to talk about, and this is the one that has bothered me for the life of me for many years now, completely. Hairy bodies. Remember back in the old days of Jentai where, you know, you end up pulling down your pants and you can see some straight up forest, just straight up bushery, straight up nonsense. That was the pinnacle of turnoff. I'm not necessarily gonna hold you. That was like the point where I'm just like, no, I'm done with this. I don't need to watch this one. This one is horrible. Get me out of here. And I'm not necessarily gonna lie, in real life, this is the real reason why I'm like, yeah, if I ever get a lady in my life, I hope she shaves down there, because I do not want to go, like, I'm already black, right? I don't want to go through a forest or some type of mystery cave or some type of shit that has a bunch of trees everywhere, right? I don't feel like going through all that and not knowing where the hell I am, where bears and shit could come up and eat my ass alive. I'm not about that shit. So why the hell would I want to go into someone else's bush while I'm clapping and then possibly have those hairs attached to someone else's, you know, the person that's clapping the cheeks, and then they, you know, have to pull apart and it might hurt you while you're trying to pull apart. I'm not about that life. So yeah, let's not entangle hairs together. Just shave your thing and be on your way. I don't know why old retro Jentai was obsessed with it, but they were. And I ain't gonna hold you, all of those anime that has that suck. So that's why I don't necessarily like the retro stuff. I just never really liked Pubic in the slightest. All of that need to get cut the hell off. Now, cat girls and monster girls alike, they just need to get some more respect on their name. Like, we've seen now, like in recent memory, that there's a bunch of different shows that's starting to come up with like monster girls and stuff, which is great. We need more of that, honestly. But definitely in the Jentai space of things, there has been like monster girls and stuff, but not heavy to the extent like it was with Monster Girl Quest or like other shows that exist that has like the monster girl elements in it, right? There's been some, but not a lot. And I feel like Monster Girls, again, still has been disrespected and still be disrespected, honestly. And when it comes to cat girls, yes, cat girls have been existing for a long time, and they have been there since the beginning of anime in a way. But like, come on, the cat girl is iconic. Everyone needs one cat girl in their life. Let them have them. Alright, let's give our cat girls some damn respect out here, right? I know cat girls have been overdone and been used to high hell, but let's be honest, y'all can still use cat girls in your Jentai. Like, you can still use it in your ways that you need to use them, honestly. You think I'm bored of Konako? You think I'm tired of Konako? You don't think I would impregnate that? Because I totally would. But definitely when it comes down to things, I just want to see more things with cat girls. Or just monster girls in general. Give me a cow chick. When was the last time you gave me a cow chick anime? When was the last time? When was it? Or when was the last time I saw a snake lady that was fine as hell? Mia? The Alice from Monster Girl Quest? Like, it's been too long. Give me something good when it comes to monster girls, honestly. Because y'all been disrespecting them a lot. You've been hoeing them just like you've been hoeing them L's. So let's be perfectly honest, give us some monster girls in some of this Jentai goodness, or just even in anime. I'll perfectly take all of it. Now the last one is the most distracting thing and the weirdest thing I've ever seen in a Jentai, and don't ever need to be repeated ever again. But you remember in Dropout when the guy was clapping the girl in the first episode in the classroom and everything was going good? Like, I would hit that too. But then all of a sudden, he pulled out the lower body of the chick. Like, why? Like, it doesn't make any kind of... can you even do that in real life? Can you pull out the inside of the vagina? Is that possible? Obviously, I can't show any of that, but definitely... it was a weird thing, right? It's meant to be inside the woman, not pulled outside. Because that's just a weird thing that just happened, honestly. I know that, you know, there's other weird things that you can do to the other hole. But definitely, this was the one thing I was just like, yeah, no, but this don't ever need to come back again. This don't ever need to come back again. So... overall, that is by far the weirdest one, and definitely the one that should never ever come back at all when it comes to Jentai. Personally, that's just me. But definitely, that's basically all I want to say for this one. This feels like more, it's been like a list of tags that honestly should be done better instead of like ones I found weird. But definitely there's some things in here that hopefully would pique your interest. Also, if you have any good Monster Girl Jentai to recommend, put it in the comments below, because I might make a list on that just to see what's the best Monster Girl Jentai that's out there. Honestly, I don't necessarily know whether it's manga or animation. I don't necessarily know. Just put it out there, honestly. That's basically all I wanted to say for this one, so hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to listen to the channel, Patreon's available as well. Until then, it's Boy J signing off. Have a blessed day.